Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Bidwell. I'm president of the Arizona Cardinals Football Club, and I welcome you all here this afternoon. First, 9 days ago, we started a coaching search, and I'd like to thank a couple of people who helped us with this search. The first person is Ernie Accorsi, who's a three-time general manager in the National Football League and one of the architects of multiple Super Bowl teams with the New York Football Giants. He assisted in consulting with me and was of great value in terms of helping us with this search. The second person I'd like to thank is Adrian Wilson, who's an Arizona Cardinals five-time Pro Bowler, a member of our Cardinals Ring of Honor at State Farm Stadium, and he participated as well. And his insight and participation in the interview process as a former player as to fit and scheme was really helpful, and I appreciate that. We started out with the idea that we were going to look at the league. The most successful teams in the league are teams that have great offenses. Top 10 offenses are the teams that are in the Super Bowl, that win divisions, and we wanted to hire a great offensive mind. We wanted to make sure that we hired somebody who had head coaching experience and weren't particularly concerned about whether it was at the college level or at the pro level, but we wanted somebody with demonstrated head coaching experience. We did a search. Steve Keim, our general manager, compiled the list with all the people that we spoke to. The one name that kept coming back to us over and over as one of the most innovative, bright minds, as an offensive play caller and as an offensive mind, is Kliff Kingsbury. And so with that, I would like to introduce our new head coach, Kliff Kingsbury.
Thank you, Michael, and I'd like to thank the Bidwell family as well, and Steve Keim, and the entire Cardinals organization for this incredible opportunity. Even though I grew up in Texas, I actually became a Cardinals fan in high school. When they drafted Jake Plummer, I was a big Jake Plummer fan. The way he played, his style of play, and then it rolled right into Kurt Warner. What an incredible story he was, the type of man he was, what he gave back to this community, and is still giving. And then came Carson Palmer, who I actually got to know in the Senior Bowl, who I think the world of. The run he had here was fantastic, and followed that closely. And then, of course, Pat Tillman, what a legendary name. My father, who's here today with my brother and my agent and his wife, so thank you all for coming. But my father was a former Marine and Purple Heart recipient, and so we've always had a great appreciation of the military in our family, and to learn the legend of Pat Tillman and hear that story has always been very inspiring in my life. And then the current roster with Larry Fitzgerald. As a coach, what a great role model for me to be able to tell my college players, hey, this is the guy that does it right all the time, on and off the field, the way he handles himself, the way he carries himself. So this is an organization that I've always followed closely, have always found it very, very first class. They do things right all the time. The fan base is incredible. They sell out the stadium week in and week out. The Red Sea is one of the most intimidating places in the NFL to have to play in front of, and I can't wait to be a part of this deal. I came here to help this organization get to where we want to be, and that's winning championships and giving this city the best team that we can be. And so once again, I'd like to thank Michael and Steve and the entire organization. Honored and thrilled to be here and ready to get to work. The first priority will be putting together a coaching staff. Steve and I have been working closely together on that. We don't have any names to share at this time, but I like the progress we've had, and that's going to be our main objective moving forward. So with that, I'll take questions.
Okay, as we take questions, Chase on this side of the room has a microphone, and Monty on the far side. So raise your hand and wouldn't mind identifying yourself for one of my questions.
Scott Bordeaux with The Athletic. Michael, you said you wanted head coaching experience. It didn't matter whether it was college or pro. I think the last college coach to successfully jump to the NFL with no NFL experience was Jimmy Johnson. Why do you think Kliff can kind of buck that trend?
Well, I look at today's NFL, you look at the college game, especially over the last several years, has come into the pro game. When you look at the output of his offenses, both when he was a coordinator in college and as a head coach, it's really impressive. The amount of points he puts up, where he positioned his offenses, and you look at the six quarterbacks that he tutored and coached that have come into the National Football League, including 2 Heisman winners. We've got a young quarterback that everybody knows. That'll be an area of emphasis. But offense overall is the direction this league has gone. And so we felt it was important to get an offensive play caller, somebody who had tremendous success and experience doing that, and having the head coaching experience. There's a lot to that job, even at the college level, maybe even more so with the amount of recruiting and the focus on academics. It's a big job. So he's done that, and we look forward to having him install his offense and get the best out of our offense and start competing.
Kent Summers, AZ Central Sports. Kliff, what are you looking for in a defensive coordinator? Do you have a style in mind you would like to play?
Yeah, we do. That's a discussion that Steve and I have had. I've obviously leaned heavily on him for names and people that he knows in this league, and we feel like we have some great candidates. But it'll be attacking style. We want to, be aggressive and get this defense back to where they've been previous to last year.
Bob Baum from Associated Press. Kliff, how much of that Texas Tech offense can be translated into the NFL, and what do you think of Josh Rosen?
What was the last part? I'm sorry. I think that's going to be the exciting part for me. I think as you've watched the trends of the NFL and college football has infiltrated that, there's a lot of similar concepts to what we've done on the college level that are being widely used and really successful in the league right now. And so I'm anxious to get in with a bunch of experienced offensive coaches and kind of mesh things together and come up with the best product we can come up with. But I do think there's a lot of things that we do or we did at Texas Tech that can be successful. Josh Rosen is incredibly talented, one of the most talented throwers you'll see. A young player, obviously, that I'm excited to work with and develop. But as a pure thrower, it's hard to find a guy that throws it better.
Hey, Kliff, Bob McManamon, in Arizona Republic. One for you and one for each of you guys, if that's all right. Kliff, how much have you talked to Josh Rosen at all? How much time will you spend with him, and what will the next weeks be like with your relationship with him? How close will you become?
Yeah, that's going to be a key emphasis for me. I talked to him yesterday briefly. He's on vacation, and there's rules that limit the contact we can have, and we understand that. But I want to get to know Josh, get to understand what makes him tick. I do think he wants to be a great player in this league. I think he's very competitive, and you watch him play this year and some of the shots he took and continue to get up and continue to fight. That says a lot about the young man. So excited to develop that relationship.
Mike and Steve, if you could answer this, how important was Rosen's development into this overall search? Was that like 90% of what you were trying to get done? I know there's a lot of other things, but how much did Rosen impact this decision?
Well, I think it was an important piece of the puzzle. It is a quarterback-driven league, and there's no doubt through my research, when you look at the young quarterbacks in the National Football League, and I think there's 5 of them under 3 years or less that are having success, and all of those guys are coached by offensive play callers. And a few of those guys actually were not the primary play callers prior to their head coaching experience. So there's no doubt that that's where the trend is going. So that was just a piece of the puzzle. But to take it a step further, the fact that I've seen Kliff on the grass, I've seen him coach up close and personal at Texas Tech, the way he's developed a lot of young quarterbacks, not only developed them, but identified them through the recruiting process, to me was certainly a plus.
Steve or Michael, and then Kliff, the Steve White with the NFL Network. Some people see the overall record at Texas Tech, and they wonder how you guys decided on hiring a collegiate coach with an overall losing record. How do you kind of reconcile that with a fan base or whomever might be skeptical of it? And Kliff, for you, I mean, how do you overcome that and know that that's probably going to be held over your head initially?
Yeah, there's nothing I can say today that's going to change that. And I know it's about the work that started yesterday and what we do from this point forward. And that's how I'm attacking that. I love Texas Tech. I love my time there. I love those players there. But this is a new chapter, a great opportunity, and an incredible organization to work for.
Kliff, Josh Weinfuss with ESPN. Why do you think you've had so much success grooming quarterbacks, sending them to the NFL, and where specifically do you think you can help Josh Rosen grow?
Yeah, I've studied Josh, but not to the extent that I will, so I don't know specifics on that just yet. But, I take a lot of pride in that position. I played that position. I try to see it from their eyes. I've been very fortunate to be around a lot of talented players, and that's a big part of it. But I think that the biggest thing is I see it from their perspective. I want to customize the offense to what they do best and make sure they understand me as a play caller. And I think that's worked to our benefit so far.
Hey, Kliff. Mark McClune, Arizona's Family 3 TV, CBS 5. Welcome to town. Following your departure from Texas Tech in November, if I would have told you that day you'd be sitting here today as head coach of the Arizona Cardinals, what would you have told me?
It's been a whirlwind. I'll just say that. When I took the job at USC, I couldn't be more thrilled to have that job. Thought that was an incredible opportunity with Coach Helton, Mr. Swan, that program, that tradition. But this is just an opportunity I couldn't pass up to work with Steve, who I think the world of and is one of the most respected GMs in the game, and then the Bidwell family, the class of this organization. It was just an opportunity I had to take.
Scott Bordeaux again from The Athletic. Steve, Kliff said he's going to kind of rely on you for some staff in terms of defense. Do you think you guys need a veteran defensive coordinator, given Kliff will be a first-time NFL coach? And do you have any preference when it comes to a 3-4 and 4-3 going forward?
Yes, I don't think there's any doubt that a veteran defensive coordinator would be ideal in this situation. And then just based on our personnel, I think a 34 fit is what we're looking for. Certainly with the edge rush that we have to be able to play man free on the back end. Again, it's catering to your strengths, and there's no doubt in my mind that we have to find a defensive coordinator that can do that.
Kliff, Catherine Fitzgerald, the Arizona Republic. You touched on this, but given the opportunity at USC and talking to the Jets, what was it about the Cardinals that made you want to come here?
Yeah, I think, knowing Steve over the years, I think the way he handled his business anytime he scouted our players, and then talking to people around the league, the way they speak glowingly of him and the job he does and how respected he is in the league. And then the Bidwell family, they're all in, not only for the organization, but the community and the synergy there is there. It's just first class all the way around.
Coach Paul Calvisi, Arizona Sports, Arizona Cardinals. What do you anticipate will be your biggest adjustment to the NFL?
Yeah, I think, every day is going to be, you're going to learn something new, and that's what I'm excited about. I don't know if I can pinpoint one adjustment, but until the players get back around and you start getting them on the grass and going through those things, I think that's when we'll kind of figure some of those things out. But, right now it's all about doing what we can do today, and that's try to put together the best staff possible, and then we'll go from there.
Coach Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. Congratulations, welcome to town.
Thank you.
Was curious whether you'll be calling plays and what you're looking for from your offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I will be calling the plays. That's something I think is important for me to have that relationship with the quarterback. That's what I've always done. Take a lot of pride in that. And I think our offense coordinator will be somebody who can come in and help me mesh some of my ideas with maybe some traditional things that they've done in the NFL, be a great leader of men, be able to handle a room, help me install different things. And so we're in the middle of that process right now and excited about some of the names and people we've talked to.
Kliff, you mentioned Larry Fitzgerald. Any thoughts about wooing him to make sure he comes back? And
I'll leave it to these guys who write the checks, I think. But no, like I said, what a great role model, what a great leader to have on your team, and I would be honored and love to work with him. He's a guy I've admired from afar for a long time, and I think we all hope that he'll be back.
No announcements today, but I'm working on it. He's out of the country you know, I say this, I think I've said this every year for the last 3 years. Let's just let Larry get a little bit of time away from the game, let his body and his mind get some space from the season, and we'll see where he goes. But I'll be talking to him for sure.